Hello, everybody. It's about that time. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey, everybody. Thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. We're finishing up our adjunct lager or lawnmower beer week. Hawk Todd sent me a box of these, and there were a couple of good ones that we haven't done yet, but most of them were the adjunct lagers. And this is Natty Bo, which is National Bohemian, and this is the Baltimore Orioles edition. I'm assuming this is what they have at the ballpark where the Baltimore Orioles play. It's in their colors, the orange can with their logo on, the Baltimore Orioles logo on there. So it says Baltimore's beer since 1885. Heilman Brewing Company out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. National Bohemian. This is a 16-ounce can. It's got September 29th of 2014 written on the can. The ABV on this is 4.52, so it's a very low ABV beer. Very sessionable, if you will, if you're into this type of beer. And they serve this type of beer at the ballpark and several places. A lot of people are into the Natty Bows, especially if you like that adjunct pale lager taste or lack of. And it's made to be very sessionable with that low ABV, where you can drink quite a few of them before you're drunk. And that's probably the reason they serve these at the ballpark, because they don't want you to be drunk and try to leave from the ballpark there. You can drink 4, 5, or 6 of these, or if you're drinking something that's 8, 9, 10%, you're going to be shit-faced before you get out of there, and they don't want that. So if you're into the adjunct pale lagers, this would be a good one probably to pick up. I have not seen this particular one. I'm pretty sure that National Bohemian is available here in Virginia. Like I said, I don't particularly pay attention to that section of the cooler that has the Bud Miller Coors or the adjunct pale lagers in it, but I'm pretty sure this version of it, that the Baltimore Orioles on it, is not available here. So this is probably all available in the Baltimore area or Washington, D.C. area, somewhere in that area. The commercial description says, today Natty Bo is brewed according to the strict traditions that made the beer of choice, using only the finest ingredients, sparkling pure water, fine grains, choice hops, and our special strain of selected yeast. Every batch of Natty Bo is patiently aged, resulting in a medium-bodied beer with a smooth color and a distinct hop aroma and superior taste. Well, imagine that. And also at the top it says Pabst Brewing Company, brewed at Miller Brewing Company, Miller Coors. It says Los Angeles here, but I just read off you can where this one came from. The food pairings for this beer is going to be your typical adjunct lager food pairings: cuisines, barbecue, Indian, Latin American, Thai, Pan Asian, cheeses of peppery, Monterey pepper jack, and the meat is shellfish. But like I said, this is made to be very easy drinking and go with just about anything. Glassware is a pint, Becker, non-tumbler, Pilsner glass of the Pokel. This is my Pilsner glass and not recommended for extended cellaring. So let's pop a cap on this one. I don't think I've ever had a Natty Bo. And this one, I don't want to pour too aggressive, but from what I read, it said it was a little more carbonated than most, but it doesn't seem to be to me. I'll show you the back side of the can, which has got the big logo of the Orioles on it. Very typical in color, very light golden color, a lot of bubbles streaming up, which is usual. Didn't pour a big head on it, which is good, because this glass just barely holds 16 ounces. Let's get a nose on it. Typical adjunct lager smell: grassy, grainy, a little hay, corn, got a sweet smell on the back end of it. Very easy drinking. I mean, very sessionable adjunct lager. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. ice cold, this beer is not a bad beer to drink, especially if you've been out working in the yard or cutting the grass or something. Typical lawnmower-ish type beer. A little more bitterness on the back end, which I like, than all that really super sweety, is that a word? Super sweet-ish type beers. Now, a lot of them have a really sweet taste to them, but this one has a little more bitterness on the back end to balance it out. Very easy drinking, very accessible. There is no alcohol taste whatsoever, but very typical of what I call a lawnmower beer, guys. So I'm gonna share pour half a glass of this in for her, let her try it out. But it's very typical of what we've done all week long. It's a very lawnmowerish, grassy, grainy, adjunct lager beer. So I'll be right back. We'll do the final grade on this one, and I think this will wrap it up for the Lawnmower Beer Week, if you will. Hawk Todd, thanks again for sending this one. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left. Very typical of the adjunct lagers we've been doing the last couple of days. Very grassy, grainy, a little bit of sweetness on the back end. Very typical of what I call a lawnmower beer, guys. Final chug. Not super impressive whatsoever. Like I said, I don't think I've ever had a Natty Boh, so this will be the first one I've had, but it's very typical of the style. Not something that I would seek out. A nice beer, but not enough taste for this guy. So, not into the adjunct lagers anymore. But, as I said, it's definitely not a drain pour. I consider it a 3, which is a D, a little below average, but not an F, not a drain pour. So, let's see what everybody else thinks. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first, and they say 67, which is in their pour range. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 4, and 43 in the style. So, a little better numbers than the ones we've been doing the last couple of days. So, not too awful bad, but still I consider it a 3. So with that being said, let me know what you think. If you've had the Natty Boh, I don't know how many of my subscribers are adjunct lager drinkers, but I remember drinking this type of beer as a young man. That was back before craft beer was really getting started, or before I knew what craft beer was. So I drank quite a bit of Budweiser's in my day, probably enough to float a battleship around, but don't care for those type of beers anymore. But this is okay. I mean, like I said, it's a little below average, but definitely not a drain pour. Very easy drinking for a 4.52% ABV beer. So not bad, but not something I would seek out. So let me know if you've had a Natty Boh, and let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. Maybe we were done with the adjunct lagers, and we'll get something a little bit better. Come on back tomorrow, and we'll see. See you then.